Hello and welcome, that's me waving, to another weekly manga log. This time I finished up Toriko, and of course there will be spoilers in this episode, so just like they always are, so be wary of that. I finished up Toriko. It kept making less and less sense as it went on, but the action was pretty cool. People would like lose limbs, and the 8 kings like got eaten, but then they could just regenerate themselves, and I was like, what? And they kept hyping up Asuya and Neo to be like this big thing, but then, you know, just randomly Toriko would get power-ups. You know, his gourmet demon then like, let him eat him, or one of his gourmet demons did anyways. And so when he did that, he like fully awakens. Let's see if I can find him. See, there he goes like that, fully awakening after he eats him. And then now he's only got 2 instead of the 3, and he's surrounded by food luck. And like pretty much the name of the game is food luck just makes shit happen because it does. Which causes them to win and beat Asuya. So, I mean, that was cool. It leaves off, though, with them going to explore space after Toriko's wedding, which is kind of neat. And space looks really cool. They talk about how all these gods like would eat whole planets and things like that, how the Big Bang happened in this world. Things of that nature, which I thought was really cool. It adds some closure to the series, which is nice, but also opens up another door in case it turns into Dragon Ball Super, which it probably won't. But, I thought it was overall a pretty good story. I really didn't like how the other 4 kings, not like the 8 kings demons, but the other hunters, like Zebra, Coco, and then I really didn't like how they didn't do anything almost. That was really annoying to me during that fight, because like they leveled up too, they got stronger as well, but they just don't get to show off, which is really lame. It's pretty much all Starjun and Toriko versus Asuya, with like Komatsu to like randomly pop in with cooking hacks. So the ending wasn't that great, but it was overall a pretty good manga. Definitely would recommend a read of Toriko if you have any interest in like battle manga. Really, it's a little bit like a throwback to Dragon Ball. It's not quite as good as Dragon Ball, obviously, but it's just like well, it's like if Dragon Ball mixed with Bleach, so Bleach has that like unexplained power gains to it where just like randomly Ichigo gets to activate the next level, and like they explain it in the story, but like it's like that's kind of bullshit though, and so Toriko's kind of the same way at the end. Throughout the rest of it though, you can see him training and everything like that, but it just relies in the end totally on food luck, which is kind of a shame because that's like a force that's completely out of their control, I think. I'm not really sure if food luck is like just luck like it is initially, or is it just the gods pointing them in a direction, or is it fate itself? Is it an energy that people can use? It's hard to say, because Starjun starts to absorb food luck and then he can use it, and I'm like, what? So I don't know. Starjun can copy anything, but like that I thought was just a force. I didn't think it was a technique. But in any case, enough about Toriko. I also read Kuroko's Basketball 23 and 24. There's only 30, so I believe that makes it 3 left. So this shows the end of the Kisei game, which is pretty cool. Kuroko ends up being the ultimate opponent for Kisei because he can pick up on all of Kisei's mannerisms he does before he, does a skill. You get to see the Meteor Jam. It's cool because I don't understand what Meteor Jam is, but they kind of explain it more in this one. It's like when he jumps from really far away and then like he like floats over. But it's cool because it actually doesn't work in this instance, and so he hits it against the backboard to complete a pass to Kuroko right there. And I'm like, what just happened? I had to like go back and be like, wait, what? Like I couldn't believe it. Like with 0.6 seconds left, and then Kuroko shoots and makes it, and I'm like, damn, that's sick. So that thought was an awesome hype way to end it. And then we get all backstory about the Miracle Generation and the before times. And you know, it's really cool. I had a good time reading this. I thought it was going to be a real drag before I started, but it was interesting. You get to see how Kuroko's friend loses. I am curious though to see why Kuroko's friend stopped playing basketball and doesn't want to be his friend anymore, but you know, we'll see. You also get more of an insight as to why Aomine doesn't try hard anymore. How Kisei got the starting spot. And I'm the most curious, of course, to see how the Akashi guy is going to end up taking out, you know, to become two people. So taking out his next personality. I don't get that quite yet, but I suppose I will in the next volume. But I think the next volume is going to end it and then start the Rakuzan game. So I'm pretty hyped to see that. Afterwards, I read the Quintessential Quintuplets, Volume 6. This one I liked probably the most. He meets this girl who I am actually no longer convinced is actually a separate girl anymore. I think she's one of the quintuplets again, but we will see. Nino catches on that he's actually not Kentaro, so that was interesting hype, but you know, it had to happen eventually. I was actually laughing a few times at this. He actually reminds me a little bit of Kyo from Zatch Bell, the main character here, Futaro. So I'm starting to like this manga the more I see these like ridiculous facial expressions on him, things like that, and this like blank stare one. Facial expressions is like a huge comedy market for me. I love to see really weird facial expressions, so that's always nice. I'm trying to find a scene that I was dying at, but let me see if I can find it here. It's also cool to see, oh, I passed it. It's cool to see how he's letting the sisters go, and he's like telling the dad off. I thought that was interesting. I really was happy to see that. But, you know, it was obvious that he was not going to stop tutoring them because I've got, like, all these other volumes here still, but, you know, I thought it was still really good. And I'm just trying to find that one scene. I was dying at it. And the concept here is that Yotsuba, they're trying to get Yotsuba to quit the track team. But they're not trying to get Yotsuba to quit the track team because, like, they think it's not good for her. They do that. They do think that, but she wants to quit too because the the coach or the captain is like sadistic. Like, she decides like the day before the weekend that they're having a training camp, and then she tells everybody about it and expects everyone to go, otherwise they're off the team. But yeah, so let's talk about this real quick. So he's like she's gonna be Yotsuba. Okay, this is Itsuki. So Itsuki's got to dress up as Yotsuba, so she's got the ribbon. She doesn't want to do it. I can't do it. And then he's like, yep, that's definitely Yotsuba. Okay, good. And so he's like, now we just need to get a distraction to get Yotsuba to come running after, you know, so she leaves the group. And he says, it's gonna be super easy. And he's like, watch. And he goes, and he yells, a groper, there's a groper on the loose. And then he runs away, and Yotsuba goes, stop right there, groper. And she runs after him, and then it just has a picture of Futaro in the background with a thumbs up. I love that shit. That's like prime comedy. That's prime comedy right there. I remember when they did that in One Piece with Frankie after he exploded the future island of Vagabond's homeland. I was like dying laughing. This is the same thing. Oh my god, except there was a song for that. This one doesn't have a song. But yeah, so I love it. I thought that was hilarious. It also gets a little serious at the end here where he ends up quitting, getting a new job as like a cake salesman. This guy cracks me up. I have no idea who he is. This is like the only like page he's in. He's like, go deliver them the cake at the end of the night. And then he's like, why? That's unreasonable. And then he's like, Merry Christmas. And I'm like, what the hell? So that was hilarious. And then let's see, what else was I reading about with this? He falls into the water, and then they go out and save him, so that was cool. And then they show off the dad here finally. He's going to have some confrontation, which is going to be nice. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Oh, I thought it was also funny how they dressed the butler up like this. That was kind of funny. As another tutor to scare Futaro into coming back. Lastly, I read Eden Zero in Volume 10. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 volumes again. I think I read 7 normally. I'm going to sneeze. Anyways. Eden Zero, Volume 10. This is much better than Fairy Tail. There's not a question in my mind. If you like Fairy Tail, you'll love this. If you like Rave Master, you'll love this. This is like on a whole other level. So they continue the assault on Drac and Joe's ship. They get chased out. They start to lose. They all get slowly, like one by one, captured until they come up to Drac and Joe himself. Drac and Joe keeps calling Rebecca Lucy. He keeps calling Rebecca number 29. I almost called her Lucy. Anyways, so he keeps calling her number 29, and she's like, why? And she's like, listen, you've got a really good power. It's not just speed and agility. It does something else when you awaken it, but you haven't awoken it yet. And when you do, I'm going to steal it. And she's like, okay, but don't do that. And he's like, well, you better let me do it, otherwise I'm going to like hurt your friends. So he shoots Shiki in the leg, right? So that's like, he's like, listen, keep moving and, you know, resisting me, and I'm going to shoot somebody else instead of you. And he's like, oh, hell no. And Drac and Joe keep saying that he needs to punish the rule breaker so people don't see him as a weakling. And so that's like the reason he's doing all this. Then he goes to Wise and he says, cut off his arm. So he cuts his arm off, right? And I'm thinking to myself, you know, no big deal. It's just like an illusion or a hologram or some shit. Whatever. But no, he cuts his arm off and it's actually off. And you can see the bubbles here are actually blocking it, the arm being cut, you know, the visual of the arm being cut off. And I'm like, holy shit, like, he never does this. And so then, like, Rebecca and Shiki are, like, freaking out, obviously. And everyone else is tortured. They took over the Eden Zero. The ship is, like, androids are all shut down. Because the skeleton guy with the cigar, he hacked the ship, and there's like nothing they can do. They have no backup, no nothing. And he's having Shiki, he says, you have to like bow to me. And Shiki's like, no, I'm not going to give up. He's like, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to make you my friend because you don't have any friends. And he shoots him in the head. And he's dead. And like, that's that. And so I'm like, oh shit. So he's dead. And so they keep going on. Rebecca's obviously traumatized, and everyone's like, listen, he's not that bad of a guy. He just has to make the rules and, you know, enforce them. But like, that's some bullshit, obviously. But then Rebecca activates her ether gear in the shower and goes back in time, and she knows exactly what's going to happen. And so she checks to see that she actually traveled back in time and it wasn't a dream. But they have to go back there to save this one YouTuber or B-Cuber, whatever they want to call it. And so they do that, and then they crash into the ship, which I thought was pretty funny. And it's like an epic scene in the anime that's going to look sick, I'm sure. But in any case, he says kill them all except for number 30, and I think number 30 is Rebecca, because she was 29 last time, and I think he counts the universes she makes when she goes back in time, which is kind of like a Marvel or DC thing, where the time stream continuum isn't linear, it's like kind of like a living organism, so you can go to different spots in just earlier times, you know? So it's like, if you're on my hand here, time might be more further ahead, but if you go to my arm, then time's, you know, backwards, because my arm's behind my hand. And so I think that concept's in play here, and Drac and Joe has some way to track it, but we'll have to see what ends up happening later on. In any case, it's a pretty good week. Here's what I'm definitely going to read next week, for those of you who want to, you know, read along. right here. I'm definitely gonna read these, no doubt about it. That's gonna get read next week for sure. I might be reading another Kuroko. This one here, 27 and 28. Maybe, we'll see. But I'm definitely gonna read this. There's 2 volumes of it, and I have them both, so I might read them both, I might just read one of them. But I cannot wait. I don't know what Sig Icky is, but that's the branding of this Sig novel. It's got French flaps with like little hidden things in it. It looks hilarious. You know, the name of it is I Give It My All Tomorrow. And so there's 2 volumes. There's that one, and then this one, which is the second one, I think has the best cover. So I can't wait to read this. These are getting, at least one of them is going to get read next week. I'm pretty sure. But at least those 3 are for sure going to get read no matter what. So in any case, I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for some hauls this week. We've got a lot of cool things coming in, and so you're not going to want to miss them. We'll see you then. Bye.